Hello and welcome to the Daily Sports Locker Room Podcast. Three very, very special guests tonight. We've got Lauren Magee, Dublin Senior. We've got Caoimhe Sloan, the Down Ladies manager, and we have Mary Mulgraine as well, who is the goalkeeper for Kildare Senior Footballers. Girls, you're very, very welcome tonight. Very, very welcome.
Thanks, Will.
Appreciate you taking time out now out of your busy schedules, and I'm sure there's been a lot of celebrating going on this week as well. And I think Mary, Roisin Byrne full forward. She was due to join us, but she's in Albufeira, I think, at the minute. So I think with most of your squad, like, yeah, so she couldn't join us. But Lauren, just going quickly to yourself, brilliant occasion on Sunday, huge crowd in for the three games as well. Obviously, you're still relatively young, but you're probably seen as a seasoned campaigner in this Dublin team now, Lauren. So how was the feeling after Sunday?
It's been amazing. It's obviously every year that I've been involved and we've won it's obviously been amazing, but I think this year topped them off. As I said, I am one of the older ones on the team. There's so many youngsters in now, and I just felt that this year of all the years was really special, and I think it was because I felt like we really built something up from the start of the year to now. So now it was an amazing occasion. So, and I'm still dying. I've been out every night, so today was the day that I had to take my foot off the pedal for a while. I'm also going to we're also going to Portugal tomorrow as well, so we might see some of the girls
from Kildare. You bumped a brave few of the Down girls as well. There must have been cheap flights to Albufeira.
Yeah, there was, yeah.
Well, here, so, listen. I suppose you'll be out celebrating with each other this week, and then next year you'll be battering each other, Mary, in the championship probably. But tell me this, Lauren: how much of a motivation was it maybe over the last couple of years? The transformation in me that obviously was something obscure, to come from where they came from, obviously, and to what you would probably call dominate the ladies' game, with a probably a really well organized defensive system as well. I suppose there was an element of, look, we want to get our title back. Was there probably a wee bit of motivation within then for that as well? Was there?
Yeah, I suppose I'm also hats off to me. It's even with Leinster and stuff. It's great. That they were up in senior. We had that competition between us then, and now the fact that Kildare have won as well, so they'll also be up in senior. So it just makes the competition that bit more competitive, and it sets everyone up for a platform for the rest of the season then. So no, they obviously played like it the way they were really good at what they did. Their system worked for them, so it was just kind of going back to the drawing board and being able to not only play against them but every other team, because everyone sets up differently. So being able to play against a blanket defense, or go at the other teams that play differently. So no, it has been a big motivation, and as I said, it's nice to have rivalry, especially so close, that type of way as well. So yeah, it's great for Leinster.
And your own style of football, I suppose, you imposed yourselves on the game very early. I know from watching the game on Sunday, I just thought there was a huge intensity in your play, particularly early in the game. And I suppose, have you had a sort of a mantra in Dublin? It's front foot football. It's ball forward first, because obviously it's a tremendous forward line. I think someone told me today. I think I was chatting to a friend of mine today, and they were telling me that Hannah Terrell now has actually got a Six Nations medal. Is that right? And an FAI Cup final appearance in soccer as well. And so a hugely multi-talented athlete, but she was magnificent on Sunday, Lauren. Magnificent.
Yeah, no, she was insane, and she's just a great person in general. She brings so much knowledge from all of her other sporting backgrounds, but she's just a great person. And yeah, she was on fire at the weekend. I was giving out to her though. She didn't pass me one ball going up the right hand side. So I wasn't impressed, but no, she was great. And no, that's what we try and play on the front foot. We play on the front foot. I just like the style of football that we play. And we just the more you can go at a team from the front foot, the less you have to do in the defensive area. So we kind of that's the way we've looked to play the game, and it's obviously worked out for us this year. But I'd hope that Dublin would continue to build on that.
Yeah, and even looking from behind the goals, like I was watching Carla Rose movement as well. Like, obviously, really, really impressive movement, a lot of ladder runs, creating space inside, and that obviously leaves it a lot easier for you guys then further out the field. That when you get your head up and look inside, you have those options inside.
Oh yeah, no, like I just I'm not my brain doesn't work as a forward. So when I'm marking the girls in training, like their movement the whole time is always phenomenal, and it's the work rate, as you said, like off the ball to create those spaces or to create those pockets for to be able to deliver those balls in. So no, the work like our forward line has been immense this year, and like even our bench like coming on, like you have still people to come on and add to that as well, like Niamh Heatherton and Ellen Gribben and stuff came off the bench into the forward line, and just everyone just works really, really hard. So no, it's great, and like especially the likes of obviously Carla's the captain, but I just feel like everyone just kind of stepped up this year, and just even the younger girls like Eva O'Connor and like Kate Sullivan's as well. Like you have those as well. So no, it's been great.
Yeah, and I heard Sinead speaking on Sunday night, and she was saying about the age profile of the group, and she was chatting about, you have that really experienced leadership group, you have that sort of middle tier. You called yourself an older player, but you're only 26, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't see 26 as being old, but and then obviously a much younger crew coming through.
Yeah,
so
that's
the
it.
nice
Like
balance.
there's four, like we had a photo after the Leinster final, and they're like the crew from 25 up was very small, and everyone under 25, like there's so many there. So but I think that was the thing for us, was there's so many new players in, like a lot of them, like when they were even minor with Dublin, like I don't think there was the setup, like they went straight from like playing minor with us up to us, and like I think coming into our setup, I think they really had to buy into like the work rate we put in and stuff like that. And I think at the start of the year we all probably would have been like, is this going to work, or are we going to get there? But I think once it clicked and once we all bought into it, like it just credit to all the, like everyone, like especially the youngsters, like it is hard to come into a setup like that and to be able to put in that much work. But no, everyone bought in, and that's like I'm immensely proud of all the girls.
Brilliant. And you're talking about your age profile there. It looks as if you aren't going anywhere anyway. You'll have a full crew next year. Any retirements, do you think?
Hopefully not.
No.
I think, well, I like to think that we're all, well, most of us are hanging around. Obviously there's going to be, you'll always have the odd few that might have to make different commitments and stuff, but no, it's good. And as I said, like I think we're all just so proud of where we've started from this year, and like the effort everyone has put in, especially our background team. Like they're just insane, and the work that they do behind the scenes, like it's just incredible. So no, it's been a great year, and I've really enjoyed it. I think the last 2 years being back and forth to Oz, like, is a great experience to be over there. But it takes you a while to get back into the flow of things when you come back. But I just really enjoyed just being with Dublin from literally from the start of the year, and just building not only on my game but the game for our team. So no, it's been obviously a great year, and the cherry on the cake then for was obviously Sunday. So yeah.
Yeah, and I know both down, Caoimhe, obviously yourself, you have a brilliant backroom team there. Mary, you know yourselves. You actually have Diane O'Hora. I think Diane would have been involved with Down many years ago, actually, when Down won an intermediate title. Am I right in saying that, Caoimhe? Diane, the Kildare manager, would have been involved back then. So, but obviously, like, assembling a really good management team is obviously important, Lauren. Like, but how important is that Dublin backroom team? Like, what does Mick bring to the table? Like, obviously, having been involved in the men's team as a skills coach, and probably was renowned around the country for, the first person to bring in the double ball and the likes of that to the training sessions. Like, but how much of an influence has he been for yourselves? Like,
he's just an incredible man, just on and off, like on and off the pitch, like in terms of like personally as well. Like obviously at the start, when he first came involved, I think I got sin bin like within the first 3 matches. So 3 matches, he was like, okay, something needs to change here. And just his approach with things, it's just like, as he said, like the skill sets that he's done. Like I never kicked the ball with my instep until he came around and made sure that we all had that ability to do that. So no, he's a great coach, and he's so much knowledge, as you said. And but then the background team, the rest, everyone else, like we're so lucky to what the people that are involved and the effort that they put in and the knowledge that we have, like is that background team have is just second to none. So no, it does. It makes everything else click. Like like if you have those working for you in the background, it just makes everything else just fall into place. You just have to back it up by working hard and going out, and like they literally all the video analysis, everything, like literally just everything down to the T, like was just like really good. So no, they're the best bunch, and I think we all just get on really well as well. So that makes it even easier too. So no, it's been great.
Just creating that real high performance environment,
Yeah, exactly. And like literally you just have to buy into it, and you just have to come to train and willing to work, willing to put in all the effort, and literally everything else is like they go beyond to help. And I think we've like Derek Murray has been in the last 2 years, and he's just been insane as well. Like I've like worked closely with him as like one of kind of my go-to coaches, and just even having that alone, like having the mix of not just having you have your manager, but you also have coaches that if you like be able to like, some people might feel comfortable going to a manager, some people don't, but like to have that mix of like having different coaches there, that there's always someone to be able to there to ask questions and to get the knowledge you need. So no, it's been, yeah, as I said, it's been a great, like since Mick's come in, it's just the work that he's put in, and anyone that's worked underneath him has just been insane. But like definitely this year, just I think everyone just went even like further and beyond like of what they've done. So like yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, and Lauren, it was just before I let you go. It was yourself, Sinead, and Neve that went to Australia, isn't that right? From the previous panel.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the girls.
How much of that? How much of that professional? That professional experience. Obviously, I know from I've worked with Marty Clark in the past as a coach. Actually managed Marty and then worked with him as a coach. And I know, like obviously, he played 75 games for Collingwood first team. And just dipping into his knowledge, of the professional sport and the professional setup, and obviously the ladies' game in Australia is growing massively now. Like so how much of that was a benefit for you coming back, even for the younger players around you as well? Surely that was a big advantage.
Yeah, like I suppose I've been very lucky, as I said, since Mick's been in, it's always been very professional, and like it's always been treated like a high performance. It is like we go in, and the effort that's put in between S&Cs, physios, all that, we've always had it. But no, it was good. It's good insight, and like even like working with different like sports psychs over there and different things like that has, like, just for me, it's just given me a few more like tools in my like kitchen, that kind of way. So no, it's been great. And I don't think I passed. I tried to pass on some knowledge, but I just try and do my talking on the pitch and bring the players along with me, especially the younger ones. But yeah, no, like as I said, it was a great experience to be over there. But I'm definitely happy to be back playing. And even last year, like I decided not to go back out, and I played and won my first county title with Crokes as well. So
Yeah.
I would have missed out on that. And like obviously big part of my life has always been Croke. So like although it was a good experience, I'm very happy to be back and just playing like Gaelic football.
Brilliant. And a nice picture of you and your dad at the end of the game as well too. I've seen that picture floating about there. He's probably
Yeah.
proud man. He played there a few times himself, I think, did he?
Yeah, I know. He's
the
very
only thing is
emotional.
he picked up more yards than you. That's for sure. Anyway.
Oh yeah, I've never. Yeah, no. We were only playing in Ballybuffet there a few weeks ago, and the last time he played up there, it was 20 years ago. And my nanny told my granddad that he forgot his boots, which he didn't, just so he'd have to bring them up to him. And then we got there, and I think he was red carded within like the first 10 minutes. Yeah, I pick up a few sin bins, but touch wood, I've never had a red card, so I think
you've
I've
never the red yet. No, very good. No, very good.
I think it's very bad if you get the red.
Brilliant. Well, tell me this then. When is the club season kick off then? You're probably back at full flow, are you?
It was supposed to be tonight, but they pushed it out a week, so it's next Wednesday. Yeah, so back to reality. I said Monday training, back to reality. Yeah,
put the feet in the ground. So all the celebrating together, and then next week you're going to be killing each other in a club championship.
Exactly. Match. That's when I won again. So yeah, no.
Very good. But listen, Lauren, it's been a great insight. Look, and I know you're very busy and you have to slip on. But listen, thanks a million. Really appreciate you coming on. As I say, I have two daughters now, one at 15, one at 13, and to see them in Croke Park watching the game in awe of yourselves and Kildare and Down, and the experience of seeing that, is brilliant for them, because you're inspiring a generation of next young female athletes. So fantastic. But listen, all the best in the club championship, and
Thanks
I wish you
so
all the
much.
best.
Cheers.
Thanks, Lauren.
See you
Well
later.
done,
Chat to you in a bit. Thank you.
See you later.
Thanks. George, listen, just on to yourselves. I suppose, Mary, on a lighter note, you're delighted to hear all those names like Carla Rowe and Hannah Terrell and all. You're thinking, how are we going to stop that juggernaut next year?
You know what? I only got a chance to catch up and watching the game there about an hour ago, and I was actually delighted Dublin won. I thought they were fantastic, and I thought like Leah Caffrey, like thinking like next year. I was like, God, like what we brought this year to Kildare, like we have to go another level. Like I think, I hate to say it, but I think the Dubs are going to have another dominant era coming. But it's about bringing that standard up to try and kind of go from intermediate to senior. Like it's a different level again. I think in terms of physicality, in terms of your shape, you need to be in the gym in the winter. I think it is. It's just a different level that we need to bring.
See, I'm sort of glad to have the two of you together now, because you are in a very similar situation in that, Caoimhe, you have gone from junior to intermediate now, and Mary, you have obviously gone from intermediate to senior, and I could see it clearly myself. I could see the physicality. I could see, as you say, Mary, the tactical side of it. You could see everything. I suppose, Caoimhe, in your advantage, and I don't know, Mary, we'll get to your age profile in a second as a group of players, but Down looked like a very, very young group of players. Caoimhe, a very young group from my seen. Is it a very young group, Caoimhe?
It would be. There's very few that are older. Natasha and Kate are the only two over 30 there. Viv's she's recently hit 30 actually as well. So there'd be the three girls kind of out of the 30 at that end of things. The rest of them, like our older players, the Clara Mulvenas and all that, at 26, and Megan's she's up there at 28, so but then there's a next gap down with the likes of Orla Duffy and people like that, Paige and Emer and Sarah Doherty and all that are a good wee bit younger, so that's promising, I suppose, for us. And probably even the biggest thing that a lot of them got to play at the Division 3 kind of football, and against the top intermediate teams in, and seeing where the barometer is, like where we have to reach in terms of the Kildare and the Clares of the top of intermediate. Like, so that's hugely positive kind of for us as a group,
Yeah. Mary, I was skeptical, right? I was skeptical of the tier system for the men's game, right? I was a big advocate of no tier, no B championship. I'd worked with a smaller county myself, and I'd also worked with a bigger county, and I'd seen both sides of the argument. But for the ladies' game, it probably is a really good stepping stone for you guys to win that intermediate, Mary, and then obviously to prepare you for next year. Would you agree that the tier system is the way forward?
Yeah, definitely. I think like we won in 2016, we went up to senior in 2017, and we were straight back down to intermediates in 2018. And we'd lost the manager, we'd lost six retirees, like, and it was just, we weren't able to compete at that level. And I think if we were just left up there, I think a lot of other people wouldn't have come back. Now I know this year, like, I think like what Lauren said there, we have the kind of different tiers in terms of age as well. There's myself and Grania, which probably bumped the average age of the team up a little bit. Then there's Grace, Roisin, Trina, and then you have the next tier, which is the likes of Ruth Sargent, who was our starting half back all year, and in my eyes was the player of the year for us this year. So we a lot of youth on the team, and then it's still a little bit of experience coming up into the senior next year. So I think it'll be hopefully we can stay there for a few years and bring up the minor team they lost an All-Ireland final this year. So there's good development coming through in Kildare. So but yeah, I definitely think the tier system is definitely the way forward.
Plenty of quality as well. Like even Roisin, who was going to pop on tonight, the full forward. Like, I thought she was outstanding on Sunday. I thought she's brilliant, great score getter. Phenomenal inside forward. And obviously, if you go up next year, as you say, hopefully that extra bit of experience, or even playing in Croke Park as well, Mary probably has given the girls a great bit of a lift.
Yeah, big time. Oh, it's a different beast. Like, even I was only talking to my goalkeeping coach there earlier, and I was just saying, like, your just spatial awareness just goes out the door when you're there on the big day. Like, it's just a goal is the same size, but it's not when the stadium is that big. Like, it's so different. But just to get over the pressure, I think of a big All-Ireland final for the team, I think is huge, because I always say, like, an All-Ireland final day, anything can happen, because it all comes down to really who handles the pressure the best. I think that'll definitely stand to us going through next year, because I know for the league final this year, like that was a huge thing for us to get out of Division 3. But I think the nerves that day were massive. And then coming into the All-Ireland on Sunday, the nerves weren't half as bad because the girls had that bit of experience from the kind of final throughout the year, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally makes sense. And I just heard Caoimhe, Mary mention, goalkeeping coach, like backroom teams now. I suppose you've been involved in ladies game for a long time now, even at club level, at county level, but the game has moved on so much. You hear Lauren speaking about the sports psychology side of it. Every team now has nutritional advice, they've got sports psychology advice, they've got S&C, the goalkeeping aspect of it, obviously, and this year, it was well documented probably within our own county that you had Mark Poland and Kevin McKernan coming into the backroom team as well, and I'm sure that obviously give the girls, a really big boost to see, a higher management team coming in behind you, and supporting you, Caoimhe.
Definitely. I think it wouldn't be possible without the massive team behind you. I remember in 2019 when myself and Peter were there really was sometimes just me, him, and maybe the strength and conditioning, and then you get the goalkeeping coach the next night in place strength and conditioning. Like, it's completely different now, and that's just in a few short years. Just you would have so many more coaches on the ground, and as Lauren was saying, like, the go-to coaches and the people that you would go and speak to, and you'd have your own maybe group of people that you'd maybe approach you a little bit more on that. But no, I think Kevin and Mark certainly with the high profile in down circles and beyond, they definitely kind of maybe attracted a few more people into the camp that were on the fence about coming back after being relegated last year. And I know it was myself and Peter were the most disappointed when we were watching on. We obviously weren't there last year to see that, and we really wanted to get back. We really wanted to try and do something, and we knew we needed a massive backroom team to make that happen. So without them, it just wouldn't have been possible. There's no way you can start, like in the beginning we were doing the video analysis, like you just can't do that. There's just too much to do. And now we can get that pinged off to us first thing on a Monday morning, and all the girls have it, and it's just like you can't possibly compete when you're not, when you don't have that kind of push behind you. Like, so no, it's hugely important. You need every single person. We've said is invaluable. Mary will know as well in her backroom team. Like, you need every single person. Like, you really do. You couldn't do it on your own.
Yeah, Mary, just reading a quote here from Deanne. It says, looking at the success of the underage teams and the work being put into the development, it's the right direction for Kildare to want to be senior status. So has there been a huge push in Kildare in development squad? My own two girls here in Down are involved in development squads, and I see some of the work that's going on in Down in particular, and there's a lot of really good work going on. And obviously counties realise now you have to get that right. Would you agree, Mary?
Yeah, big time. I think especially at that age as well, where players drop off, you're coming out of 16, you're going to minor, and then everything else starts to get pretty attractive. And then girls start thinking, maybe I don't need to play football. But when the right setup is in place, like, it'll give that girl, like a girl in ours who said, you know what, I want to go into a county setup. Like, there's a good development there, and they can see the progression. I think when that's not there, girls get lost, they drop out of sport, and look, but that's not a good thing. I know from Kildare, I know from us, like, our development has been brilliant in the last couple of years, but it was never like that. But it's only developed. And it's great to see.
Why is that, Mary? What has changed though? I
think with the underage, I think they've actually set up development squads, and like they've,
right, okay.
Yeah, which is something that was never there. And that's coming right through underage, right up the ranks, and you can see players who have started in the underage development and they're now playing minor. And like I said, like young Ruth Sargent for us has come up right through the ranks, and she's holding her own. She like held one of the best forwards there on Sunday to a couple of points, so she's proof that it works. But yeah, I think it is. I think when you can see the progression of it, I think it's massive. And I know they're definitely doing it right here in Kildare, but it's something that wasn't always there, but it is now. Like,
and obviously, Caoimhe, for Down to have that sustained, progression and sustained success, you need 3 or 4 Down minors coming through next year, and the same yourselves, Mary, as well. You need fresh faces coming into the panel, obviously, just to kick the thing on, ignite the thing, don't you?
For us, bringing in some of the minors when they finished there, so we already had a few of them in. We'd Neve King in, and she played a good bit of the league campaign. Yep. She's only 18 or whatever, and two others as well. We Niamh McClory and Bevan Rogan, you know, and they were getting vital experience and maybe not too much game time, you know, they're in kind of a wee bit inexperienced, if you like, but Niamh played an awful lot of our games. We actually beat Wexford with, probably thanks to Niamh. She scored the crucial score in the league to draw the game and then to win the game. You know, and that was when I think she 17 at that point, you know. So you need those players coming in that'll stand to her. That's Niamh King will remember that and will be pushing on. And she was unfortunate to get an injury then, you know, towards the latter part of the championship. But at the end of when the minors kind of season finished up, we brought in a number of girls as extended panel members, just 5, something we've never done before because, you know, there was really no room, I suppose, and the way things were, but they kicked the whole thing on, you know, when we were playing like Kilkenny, you know, in a game, and Kilkenny, with all due respect to them, you know, they only had 13 on the day, and they are developing themselves, and I know, you know, that training session on the Tuesday night after, it was one of our hardest sessions of the year, you know, where the minors were coming in, the ones just outside the panel were coming in at 100 mile an hour to stake a claim in that team, and we were very much battling score difference that day too, so we had our own sort of challenges, but I know that those young girls coming in was incredible, and you know, we were lucky enough to get to stay in the Canal Court there on Sunday night, and I think there was a few whispers, a couple of people were in the gym Monday morning, like, and a few people very, very inspired by everything that happened there, and like, fair play to them, you know, nobody asked them to, nobody was checking that sort of stuff or anything, but they've set their sights now and said, like, I want to be part of this, and that's what you want, you know, because now that message is out there to anybody that thinks, oh, I could race back on my laurels here, and everything was going well. These girls are chomping at the bit and they'll do anything to get a jersey, and like, it's been a serious momentum shift for us this year to see that, you know, coming off the back of that relegation, you really needed that quick bounce and that kind of appetite to win again, and that was so important, especially when you're in a tough Division 3, like, you know, when you're trying to build a team together, because we obviously weren't there last year. You're trying to quickly build a team. But I suppose we were lucky having been there the 3 years previous, in knowing a good few of the girls, but you're trying to very quickly embed a game plan, and those younger girls really kicked that whole thing on, like.
Yeah. And Mary, how excited are you guys then for moving up to senior level? Like, what will it take for, you talked about Kildare being promoted and then straight back down again. Obviously this time you'll be hoping this year that you can obviously sustain a challenge at senior level and stay there. Mary, what will you guys look at over the winter, and what will you need to focus on to really make that step up?
Yeah, I think just in terms of physicality, I think it's another level. I see we're going into club championship now, so I was actually up training the club there last night, but our club championship starts in another week, so like, you're going to be maybe coming into club championships, and then girls are going to want to take a break for a couple of weeks because football's finished. But then you're coming into December then, and if you're starting a gym program then coming into a league, like, it's no good. I think it needs to be a week or two off now for the players, and then it's right, what's the gym program for the winter, and run that in line with club championships, because that's what needs to happen. Like we do, I think, just in terms of gym work, it needs to be done. Speed needs to be worked on. In terms of agility, like the likes of Pilates, yoga, or whatever we're doing for the winter. Mobility was massive. We had a brilliant strength and conditioning coach in there this year with us, Orla. She's a big rugby background, and she was fantastic with the girls. Like, the work she did, you could see it. And the girls brought into our program, and I think that's important as well. Like, you know, when you're, as a player, like, when you believe in something and you're enjoying it, it's a lot easier. Whereas, like, you know, oh, geez, I have to go to the gym again today, but when it's enjoyable, it makes it kind of a lot more easier. But I think just professionalism, everything's going to have to be up to gear, you know, just the way we carry ourselves, the commitment, what we do. Like Lauren said there, like, the backroom team, it is like a professional setup. And I was playing over in the States when I was 18, 19. I came back, and the reason I came back into football was it was the biggest thing in the country here. It was the biggest professional setup. And I was thinking back then to where football is now, like 13 years later, it's almost like what the experience that I had in America was, where, like, it was said there, like, all the backroom team, all that's taken care of you for you. All you have to do is be a player. And when the roles are defined and people know what the role is, it makes our job so much easier. But yeah, I think big step up. I think not a massive winter off. I think just get cracking again in a couple of weeks, and hopefully Diane is put back in place and all the players come back. I hope the county board do that ASAP, to be honest.
Yeah. And again, Meath for yourself, Mary, is obviously a good example. A team that has come up, stayed up, and actually went on to become champions.
Yeah, big time. And I think that, look, we look up to that as well. You know, it can be done. I think when you see something done, you believe then it can be done again. Sometimes it just takes from someone doing something to be like, oh, look, it can be done. So, like, what Meath did was, the whole country knew about it. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
They had momentum, and they kept it going. They kept the momentum going. And I think that's what we need to do this year. You know, we've a lot of young players coming through, and probably a few more to add to a new panel next year. So I hope we'll probably have one or two retired, if even, and just bring the whole same panel back, same management, and just keep the momentum going.
Well, from the sounds of yourself, they're talking as well. Like you're bulling for another rattle in at the senior level. Put the wrongs right of the last camp.
I'm only getting started. I have a shoulder surgery to get
stuff.
a couple of weeks, and once I get
Right.
that over,
okay,
I'll be.
Yeah, you'll be back flying. And Kiva, what about yourself? Similar mindset to Mary. Obviously, make the step up. Obviously, you need to get back in and get the work done, particularly with a younger group as well, who are probably, very receptive. They want to learn, they want to grow, they want to develop.
That's it.
Use the plans in place straight away.
We said we'd have those conversations in a week or so. We said we'd leave it, we'll come back in, we'll see,
okay.
How things go after the year away, would it all work with the teamwork, the backroom team work together, and it did, and it was brilliant. So those are conversations we'll have in the next week or so, and start sitting down with people and see where everybody's at. But, it was one thing everybody was saying, you have to stick together, and, as Mary was saying there with me, they really stuck together when the momentum was there, and that is key, and we felt we were really underperforming. A lot of this year where we lost a few people, and we were kind of underperforming in a lot of the games, but crawling over the line. So there you were, just off that Division 3 final place in points difference, but yet you're struggling then against maybe teams in Division 4. So I don't know if that says more about us or more about how little there is between the teams. There's an awful lot of teams that go straight up and bounce back down. But we all look to the positive kind of stories of the Antrims of this world, who came from junior, and they were a serious team in intermediate. I'm sure Mary had one eye on them too, with how good those were coming up against. And similarly Meath, they lost 3 intermediate finals in a row. How their management team stuck together to do that, and then to do what they did, is just phenomenal. So that's the dream that everybody wants. But I think Mary hit the nail on the head there. What's good enough at intermediate isn't good enough at senior. What's good enough at junior isn't good enough for intermediate. If you're not going to make that, if you're going to do the same things, you probably haven't a hope. Everything needs to step up across the board. I remember watching the 3 games a couple of years in a row, when there is that kind of stark difference between the 3: the speed, the physicality, the execution of the skills. The mistake counts are lower as you get through the games, and that's where we want to be. That's what we want to obviously start doing, and every team does. You aspire to play that better football, and as we say, the barometer's been set there by Kildare, Clare, Kerry and Dublin at the weekend. They've let everybody know where it's at, and that's what you have to do to get there. So it's about how you do it now, I suppose, in the off season.
Yeah, brilliant, Kiva. And maybe just while I have you, just probably the last question, I'll let you just go because it's been so good with your time. I suppose from a goalkeeping perspective, it can be a lonely place at times. But particularly, I would say, over the last number of years, particularly in the men's game, the likes of Stephen Cluxon, Rory Bagan, Niall Morgan, these guys have probably revolutionised the position. Obviously it's become a position now that has become so pivotal and so important. And the ladies' game is exactly the same. Your key, and how you're organising the team. The goalkeeper's nearly been used as a +1, aka like an Ethan Rafferty of Armagh. Can you see evolution in the game coming?
Yeah, big time. I always say, the most important position on the field in ladies football is goalkeeper. Goals wins games at the end of the day, and especially in ladies football, there's a high volume of goals. Even watching the Kerry Dublin game, I think kickouts won that game, to be honest. I think the kick-out percentage won it, and it was Dublin just knew what to do with the Kerry kickouts. And I think the ladies' game in terms of goalkeeping, I think it's going to evolve massively over the next couple of years as well. We've seen it in the men's game in the previous years, but I think the ladies' game, I guarantee you, in the next maybe 5-6 years, I can see that changing and evolving. You see, even from the kids Like the kids, the fans in Kildare have been unbelievable. But the amount of kids that come up to me now, I'm a goalkeeper, I want to be a goalkeeper. Like that was never there before. It was always here. Just throw in there the number 30, you stand in the goal there and just try and hopefully save a few. You know what I mean? But like it was always overlooked as a position, and it's an art. It's a sport in itself. Like I have an unbelievable goalkeeping coach. He was my goalkeeping coach in 2016, and that man won me an All-Star. Shane Farrell is his name. But what he did this year was he brought 2 keepers in. There was a panel of 3 of us, and we worked together, and we went off and did our own sessions every single session, and we joined in at the end of the training then with the panel. But like it was a different sport almost, and we had such a great little season together, and we said, look, we'll take a couple of weeks off now, and we'll work right through the winter together, building from where we left off, because Brilliant. I think it's an art in itself, and it's so underlooked, and yeah, I love it. Can't wait to go back next year.
Yeah, it's evolving and down too. Big time. Amy McGivern scored a point this year. She was a forward, and we managed to convert her, and it was a big process. Now Amy's massively skillful, but it took a long time, converting her, and I suppose having the background of the serious hands, but she had to do an extra bit of work herself. She's a Crusaders footballer, there she plays in that league as well. She's it's taken the leaf out of the Ethan Rafferty, Rory Began book of saying, like, can we get that +1 up the field, and can we start putting a wee bit more pressure on their kickouts? And Amy got a point herself, but as Mary said, the goals are crucial, and if you don't have somebody there, you're in trouble. And we struggled to find goalkeepers in Down at all, for the first few years. Like, finding somebody that's a quality goalkeeper is really hard to do in the ladies' game, and it'll win and lose you a game. It really does. It's massive, maybe even more so than in men's, and could that be size difference? Like, you're dealing with the same size of nets, but very different stature of people an awful lot of the time. And they have to get themselves across the nets that bit quicker, as well. So no, we're delighted. Like, we got Amy in, and she's been first class and chipping a point off it, which she'll remind us all of as well, no doubt.
Yeah, brilliant. Yes, yeah, brilliant. No, and listen, look, really, really appreciate your time. And I suppose, Caoimhe, I remember seeing something, I think you said that it was the stuff of dreams, to be involved. Like, I'm sure it was a proud moment for yourself and the family. I know your family well. They're Newry people as well too. So delighted for you, I'm sure it was a big, big proud moment for you on Sunday as well, personally. Was it?
Yeah, it's crazy, your people were saying, when you go to junior, you'll bounce up. Like, it's not that simple at all. And anybody that's just come down from senior into intermediate, it is not that simple. And the same to junior, there's an awful lot of things have to go right. And we played Limerick twice this year, and then Carlow in the semi-final, and nothing's a given in those big days, when it comes down to it. And look at Antrim Fermanagh last year, that went nip and tuck, and then Antrim really pulled away in the semi-final, or in the replay, sorry. And then look at them this year, so finals can dictate an awful lot, and it's again who deals with the pressure. And we had possibly one of our worst performances. It got us over the line on Sunday, thank God. But if you were looking at it from did we hit our KPIs and all? Nope, we didn't. We really didn't. But we got over the line, and we'll not look at it for another wee while anyway. We'll let that go. But massively proud moment. Delighted for the girls, in the work that they've all put in and bought into the project that was sort of set out. And it's a relief more than anything else, I suppose.
And Mary, you looked as if you were cruising, and then it sort of became very tense towards the end, I suppose. Final whistle, massive relief, was it?
Lauren went down with dislocated knees. She said to me, Kieran, Mary, let a few goals in there and just make a game of it. She said, well, bring it down to the last 2 seconds of the game and give them a free.
That's right.
But look, we got over the line. Everyone said to me, but look, at the end of the day, a win is a win, and we were probably the better team by maybe 9-10 points or whatever it is, and we slept a little bit in the last couple of minutes, and a couple of little mistakes, let 2 goals in, but we won't get away with that next year, and we know that. You know what I mean?
No, listen, girls, on behalf of myself and DSS as well, I'd like to thank you for coming on this evening, taking out your time, because I know it's been a hectic week. I'm sure a tiring few days too as well, and plenty of emotion. So, but listen, all the very best next year in the senior championship, Mary, and obviously, Caoimhe as well in the intermediate championship, and hopefully, the team will continue to make strides. But listen, on behalf of myself, thanks very much, girls. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Kieran.